Justice.
Trainee Forest Ranger call.
Outlines your face. Know my sword.
Rest for the wicked.
Know my sword. Let's light it up. Ring cutter. Everybody stand back. Once again.
Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Or not. Off we go! Even better than I imagined. It's my lucky day.
rest for the wicked.
Everybody stand back! No, my sword! Rain outlines your fate.
Midnight bell. Let's do it.
Teamwork is teamwork!
Benny's adventure team. I have... failed you.
My royal has known my sword! Let me lead you! Let's light it up!
Adventure time!
Ignorant and vulgar.
Adventure time!
Please appreciate it. Please remain seated.
adventure time! Good things come to those who...
Apparently, I'll have to show a little more of my true capabilities. I did not realize that you had such a penchant for getting into dangerous situations.
Don't wait around. That's what... Benny's adventure team? Trample!
Oz, reveal thyself. Practice on stuff. Rain outlines your face. Everybody stand. Ring ready. We go.
As you wish, mein Fräulein.
Let's light it up. Why do they never miss? I'm going in. This is just my luck. Let me lead you a bit. It's my turn! By royal decree! Rain outlines your fate. Oz, let's light it up! Everybody stand back! Shadow! Ring cutter! Practice on stuff! Let's light it up! Myself going in! My royal... Let's light it up! Let's light it up! Teamwork is... Let me lead you a bit. Adventure time! Off we go!
appreciate my sincerity. No, my sword! Please hold for just a moment. It must go on. Body and mind.
Let's move.
Please appreciate my sincerity. What must go on?
This.
Please remain seated.
Ignorant and vulgar.
What must go on? Please remain seated. What must go on? Time to act.
Add Astra. Thank you for Add Astra. Isn't that Charlotte? Who's her friend, and what are they chatting about?
Be pleased with the cherry on top, Charlotte. Journalist extraordinaire. I read that a gang of criminals tricked the Gardamex by disguising themselves as blubber beasts. It's true, isn't it? I've invested all my savings into graph adversarial technology, and even I'm begging you like the beggiest beggar in...
I need you to calm down a little, Miss Lapine, Pauline. I admire your passion for your research, and I don't mean to dash your hopes for those, big-ticket orders, but I'm afraid I'm not joking. The Blubber Beast incident was a short story mailed to us by an anonymous amateur author, written in the style of a true story. It sounds like they're just discussing a story, but why does this Miss Lapine Pauline seem so distressed? Funnily enough, I actually remember being in a meeting where the editing team was debating the potential risk of misleading the public with this story. But to our surprise, they fully supported us printing it. They figured that the false intel would be a great way to dupe potential criminals into wearing ridiculous costumes when, in truth, Gardamex are extremely sophisticated in their capabilities. They can identify criminals just as reliably as the best human guards, so a crude disguise isn't gonna get you far. If anything, since we ran that story, the Maison Gardiennage has made a slew of arrests, including, one phantom blubber beast, a titanic red-crowned finch, so I knew this story had helped out law enforcement. But this is the first time I'm learning of an innocent citizen being deceived by it, and investing so much more of for nothing. Uh-oh. She really sounds like she's in pain. Hey, Charlotte! Traveler, Paimon, it's you! I was in the area taking some photos for a story when I got to talking to Miss Lapine Pauline. She read an article in the Steambird about a criminal who evaded Gardamex detection by disguising themselves as a blubber beast. Inspired by this story, she spent a lot of Mora researching counter-criminal image recognition technology. Her aim was to improve Fontaine's public security by developing a device that could enhance Gardamex target recognition capabilities. She was hoping I could write an article to spread awareness about image recognition technology. She even paid me for the article and gave me one of her prototype devices, but unfortunately, it was just a fictional story, and her efforts and aspirations were all in vain. This is a new situation for us, too. It's such a pity. It seems like the author was only trying to make the story interesting, and the Maison... Wait. Miss Lapine Pauline, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pick a fight with a Gardamex, head to the opera at Micles, and get a one-way ticket to the Fortress of Meropide. That way, I won't have to repay my debts. It's the only way I can...
Whoa! There's no need to go that far. I mean, come on. Look at you. You wouldn't even dent the Gardamex armor. In all likelihood, they'd only hold you up at the Maison Gardiennage. Actually, instead of going into the technicalities of that, how much did you actually invest?
270,000 Mora.
Okay, well, escaping to the Fortress of Meropide over a sum like that seems like a last resort. Surely there must be other options.
Not anymore. I used to be an equipment supplier to the Fontaine Research Institute before that blew to pieces, and now I'm just a small-time engineer. I scraped together some savings over the past few years, but I put every last more. It's not just my savings that are gone. It's my whole future as a graph adversarial technology specialist and my dreams of becoming a billionaire one day. My life is over.
Don't despair, Miss Lapine Pauline. I think I know a way for you to turn this around. This prototype you've given me, the camera lens for image recognition sample collection. It's really quite something. You said you designed it specifically for high-fidelity image capture and analysis. The rapid focal length adjustment is a very useful function in its own right. It's sure to make many journalists' jobs much easier. So your research efforts thus far are by no means in vain. The technology you've developed may have many applications that you've never even considered.
Really?
Absolutely. I've been working as a journalist for the Steambird for a long time now. No one understands the issues we journalists face, so keep calm, take heart, and start thinking about mass production. In the meantime, I'll show your invention to all my colleagues to drum up interest.
I can't. If this is true, then I can look into setting up a whole camera lens development pipeline. Oh Maybe I should consider taking out another loan. That way, I can rapidly improve the lens production process, be the first to market, and prepare to battle for dominance.
Come on, stop daydreaming about your pipelines for a minute. Just take it one step at a time and see how it goes. There's no sense in putting all your...
And I can probably speak to some people I know and license my image recognition device to a workshop to raise some funds. There's no time to lose. I need to get to work. Early bird gets the worm.
Can you believe her? Paimon's pretty sure our advice went in one
It's understandable. When inspiration and passion strike at the same time, it's all too easy to throw yourself, but don't you worry. I'm gonna write an art. Her research has the potential to benefit the entire journalistic community. I'll give her plenty of input to stop her from going down any rabbit holes, and make sure mass production of her lens can begin as...
It's reassuring to know that you'll be looking out for her, Charlotte.
Actually, you know what? Why don't you two take this prototype lens? I'm sure you'll... It takes the right person to get the most out of a new technology. In your hands, it's sure to...
Thanks a lot, Charlotte. What a nice surprise. We were just curious about what you guys were talking about.
You're welcome. I got something out of this too. The beginning, the boundaries between real news reports and news-like fiction must not be blurred. Even... Yes, that's how I'll phrase it to the editors when I give them my feedback. Let's hope we don't mislead...
Phantasmagoria.
Ring cutter. Red outlines your fate. Body and mind. Benny's adventure team. I have failed you.
Oz, reveal!
Power boost. Adventure time. Let's light it up. Rain outlines your fate.
Night Phantasmagoria.
Let me lead you across.
monument to chivalry.
Shadow Raven, let night fall!
Let's
longer hold back. Let's light it up! Ring cutter! I'm going in! Huh? Oz, reveal! Body and no, my sword! Let's light it up! Everybody stand! Witness the power! Why do they never miss?
As you wish, Neuvillette.
Ray outlines your face. Teamwork is dreamwork! Let me lead you a place. Off we go! My royal... No, my sword! Ring cutter! Everybody stand!
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
No, my sword! Go in! Let me lead you. Let's light it up! Witness the power for what? Let me amuse myself a little.
Freeze!
Let's light it up! Off we go! Everybody stand back! No, my sword! Let me...
Practice on the sun.
I'm going in! Rain outlines your fate. Look at me. Just once.
Perhaps we could take a walk by a riverbank or somewhere.
Let's light it up!
I see the temperate waters of eons past.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
This realm is no hope for a princess.
Chivalry will... Everybody stand back! Rain outlines your fate. Vengeance!
By royal
Going in! Light it up!
As you wish, Maiden Fräulein.
Know my soul!
The wrong test
Everybody
subject.
stand back!
Let me amuse myself a little. Practice on for size.
Let's light it up! Teamwork is dream! Let me lead you. Rain outlines your fate. Adventure time! Let's light it up!
Midnight Phantasmagoria. Let me amuse myself a little.
Go in! We go wider they never met! Let's light it up!
Oh, look at me. Just
Body and mind.
there you are. By royal Dad,
Teamwork is dreamwork! Let's light it up!
touch me.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Practice on for stuff.
Let me lead you a place. break the curse. Blink finds your fate.
Press this off the side. Midnight
Witness the power for whack.
I summon thee.
Let's light it up. Let's light it.
Wings of darkness. Come.
No one's joined me on an adventure in Come on, let's go! Benny's Adventure Chief! Assemble!
restaurant.
Power of the wild. Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's light it up. By royal decree, I can no longer hold the beach rainbow.
As you wish, main Fräulein.
The brightest flames burn fastest.
Freeze!
Let's light it up! Over here! Adventure time! Insubordination! Not good. Teamwork is dreamwork! No, my soul! Ray outlines your fate.
Shadow Raven, let night fall.
Over here! Go ahead!
Main Fräulein.
Ring cutter! Look at me. Body and mind. Time to act. Rank outlines your fate. Witness the power of Gugwa.
Practice off
Light it up! Teamwork is... Over here! Ring cutter! Know my soul! Go in! Now you've got me worked up.
Midnight Phantasmagoria!
No rest for the...
Let me lead you.
I summon
Rain outlines your fate.
Teamwork is
Let's light it up!
odds revealed.
Ring cutter! Let's light it up!
Let me amuse myself.
Go in!
Assassins shine. Shadow Raven!
No rest for the wicked. Another
Practice on yourself! I summon.
Let me lead you. Let's light it up! Teamwork is dreamwork! Let's light it up! No, my... Witness the power.
Let me go in.
Adventure time!
By royal decree,
midnight phantasmagoria.
Everybody stand back!
No rest for the wicked.
the more, the merrier. Practice on yourself!
Go in! Rain outlines your fate. Let's light it up!
Odds revealed.
Over here! Everybody stand back!
Shadow Raven, let night fall.
Freeze! Another
Here, no my sword! Ring cutter! Teamwork is dreamwork! The more, the merrier! No longer hold back! Let's light it!
Midnight Phantasmagoria. Freeze! No escape.
Let me amuse you. Let's light it up! Rain outlines your thoughts. More power, the merrier. Everybody stand back! Let's light it up!
You can't run from death. As you wish, main Fräulein.
Look at me. Just... Throw my sword! Let me lead you.
Freeze!
I step go! Teamwork is dreamwork!
Crisis on the line.
The wrong test subject.
Let's light it up! By royal decree!
Picked the wrong test subject.
I created another universe and founded paradise. For I, Fischl, am the Prinzessin der Verirrt. I created another universe and founded paradise. For I, Fischl, am the Prinzessin der Verirrt.
Jenny's adventure team, assemble!
that shipment of spice?
Huh? Wait, you're that blonde traveler who's on a journey to all corners of Tevat, right?
Who's asking? Do you need something from us?
You bet I do. I was worried I wouldn't be able to find you. I have a letter for you. He was a crafty fellow, let me tell you. Took advantage of a loophole in our mailing system by opting for guaranteed delivery, then filling in the most obscure mailing address I've ever seen.
Well, we aren't always on the road, so yeah, it's pretty tough to get mail to us unless. So, what address did that person give you anyway?
He just wrote, next to a small, white-haired talking fairy.
What? So the address is Paimon?
Yeah, exactly, right? And if I failed to deliver the letter, I'd have been bound by regulation. Really, he got me good. I count myself very lucky that I ran into you here. Of course, here it is.
Come on, Paimon wants that. Kaya, huh? So he's here in Sumeru. Now that Paimon thinks about it, Crafty does describe him. From what he wrote in the letter, it looks like he didn't think there was much chance of it reaching us. Or maybe he's just being sneaky. Do you think he's making this sound like a miracle of fate so that we'd have to go meet up with him? Yeah, you're right. It's always nice to see old friends. The letter says that he hangs out at Jafar Tavern every afternoon. Perhaps we... did you just feel the elements of the world? Seems all you had to do was just touch the statue and you got the power of Animo. As much as they may want it, people in this world can never get a hold of powers as easily as you. It's a bit rude to say that about the power of the god. Uh-huh. It's because you're not from this world to begin with. If we keep heading west from here, Mondstadt is the city of... So perhaps there are also lots of bards there. Let's move then. The elements in this world respond...
Hey, cutie. You're going to... Hey, cutie. Hey...
I create...
Hey there! We'd like to... Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him?
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaidehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate...
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Mr. Kaidehara is currently the talk of the town, so to be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaidehara's personal information. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Songo would have snapped them up in an instant.
Millions? Of Mora? Whoa! Oh, wait.
Please, accept my thanks for looking up.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaedehara. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads, and I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou
That does make sense. Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble. Few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now. I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or loot for the poor victim. This would be a completely senseless crime.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade.
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand. Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over the last few days. Let me tell you about it, Justin.
Sure. During times like this, the more info.
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Amenoma. Now
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithy. 2 grown men going missing at the same time. I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may wish to attack me.
Sure, can't hurt. We never know. Whoa!
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making some inquiries at the Amenoma Smithy.
Sounds good.
If it isn't Kaedehara.
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited let me quickly explain. The Raiden Gokaden was the collective term for the 5 most acclaimed bladesmithing arts in Inazuma. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Raiden Gokaden by the almighty Shogun. And over time, unfortunately, a series of events led to the gradual decline of many clans in the bladesmithing trade. Today, only the Amenoma clan has kept its art alive.
So sad.
It is a great pity indeed. In the old days, we each had our specialties. And just as iron sharpens iron, as an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and as for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become...
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedahara clan...
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiment. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is...
Ah, yes. My nephew. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. But I've done what I can so far. Worrying is...
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance.
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato. After that, the next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse. Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was...
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the...
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person, based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind.
Huh. Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, but with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear with neither farewell nor fair warning. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced or otherwise compelled by... Anyway, should you find...
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the Nagato.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new...
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was happy to believe that they were just extremely important to him. Everything was fine when we first got married, but as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh! What happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it so many times, but he never listens. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Amenoma Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short period. But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Amenoma Yuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument. This situation is getting a little confusing.
A little confusing? More like completely mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance. The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and, nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Right. I very much agree with you. It seems highly likely that we're missing a piece of the puzzle. Working off what we know so far, there are too many things that don't add up. The chances are that there are still some clues left for us to discover. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who is inclined towards initiating conflict. Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some closure.
Okay, but where should we go now?
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some shreds of evidence.
Kaya should be at Jafar Tavern right now. Let's go.
Wait. I hear something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma, the remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed, but this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
So it's an underground...
The force is definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no... You needn't worry. Both of us have faced...
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out!
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy... Two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. Yes, let's go. If nothing else, quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you too will perceive its ominous presence in the wind.
Time to act.
From this point, the main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here, and seems to be dissipating slowly. Quite...
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing my attention. Let's take a closer look.
Everybody stand back! Let's light it up!
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Ugh! Look at this red stuff!
By the looks of it, a letter, written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time. Well, let's take a look. According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
So, where is he?
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and I'm afraid he may no longer be with us. Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here. Yes, right now we need to uncover if Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately. Then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting.
Right! So let's get moving!
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, for a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further... All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected. It seems I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait! You figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger. He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there any...
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I... Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before! What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenoma Yuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, It is giving off a strange light. Whoa, whoa! Surely...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of, or rather, as a means to occupy Amenoma Yuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. Many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, he not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also in her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
So... swords?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me... After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power.
So Amenoma Yuya, tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back. After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed at long last. I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you. And by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body over to me!
Wind Strider. Rain Cutter.
Join me and sever that divine light!
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Oz for me!
Witness power. Let's light it up.
Rewrite history! Join me and sever that divine light! Not stand in my way, or I will strike you down too!
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will. The end result is the same! I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger! And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary, and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art. But from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, The forms of Ishin art convey the... Since the blade is currently possessing Amenome Yuya's body, its movement, if you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner, now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Amenome Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so... You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal!
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life. Even if you were to sever that divine light, is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream, and the very purpose for which I was brought. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also...
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedahara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet, and I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning...
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power once we have dealt with them.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must...
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Amenome Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the Blade's puppet. The cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely devoid of honor. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenome Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some Even if things take a turn for the worse, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks entailed.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn too. Now, take me in your hand.
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will. Thank you.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
Ah, all right.
What about Aminoma Yuya?
The blade says he'll let Aminoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet,
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a... Okay, fine.
Even better than I imagined. It's my lucky day. Adventure Team, assemble! Oh, ow! Where did that come from? Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Or not. Let's go find some treasure. anyone's joined me on an adventure in ages. Come on, let's go!